What is up, you guys? It's your boy Xander here, back with another video. For those of you who are new to the channel, hi. My name is Xander, and on this channel we get into all things, everything. So we talk about pop culture, we talk about hot topics, I do reaction videos, music reviews. I talk about pretty much anything and everything my subscribers ask me to talk about. So if there's something that interests you or you want me to talk about something, feel free to subscribe and let me know down in the comment section below. So today we're going to talk about black people and, well, marginalized people in general and why we should not be asking for equality. So we're going to talk about what equity is versus what equality is. For a while now, a lot of people have been equating the two. People typically ask for equality, and I'm not sure that they understand what that means in comparison to equity. So the plan in this video is just to break that down so that we can have some discussions as far as why I believe we as black people should not be asking for equality, but we should be demanding equity. So I'll start by saying that basically equality means treating everyone the same and giving everyone access to the same opportunities. So when you think about that, that sounds great. It sounds fantastic, but let's dive a little deeper into what that means, okay? So equality means giving everyone the same access, the same opportunities, giving everyone the same assistance regardless of what they don't have, but also regardless of what they already have. And so the reason that the concept of equality does not work for us as black people is because for hundreds of years, our skin color has been criminalized, has been demonized. And so let's say, for example, you know, a lot of companies have this equal opportunity employer byline in their company policy. Well, the fact of the matter is, it may say equal opportunity, but when your skin color has been demonized and criminalized and things like that, we've all seen far too often that there are prejudices out there. Racism still exists, and because of the disparity that we see when it comes to the wealth gap in between whites and blacks, it is clear that we are not treated the same, and we really aren't afforded those same opportunities that the concept of equality promises to us. So in 2020, when we talk about giving everyone equality, equality still does not put us as black people on a level playing field. So now let's get into what equity means. So when we talk about equity is proportional representation. So it basically means that you will be provided resources in the form of funding, in the form of assistance, in the form of any type of support that is tailored to your specific need. Equity is proportional representation in terms of race and gender and things like that in those same opportunities that the concept of equality promises us. So when I say that, what I mean is equity is what will actually put us on a level playing field. Equity is what will provide us with the resources that we need to actually combat that 400-year head start that white people have gotten in this country in regards to, you know, making it, I guess. So for my visual learners, for the people who need a visual, I'm gonna put a picture up above me or on the side of me that kind of shows, you know, what the concept of equity means versus equality. So if you look in the picture, you can see that there's a barrier in front of three men, okay? Equality says that regardless of, you know, where these men are, we're gonna give them each a crate to kind of get over that barrier, to see over that barrier, to see, you know, what else is out there for them. The concept of equality gives them each a box to stand on. Well, as you can see in the picture, equality does not account for the disadvantages that one of the guys, as you can see, who's really kind of short, equality doesn't account for the disadvantages that this guy has starting out, okay? So equity, as you can see by the photo, equity is providing each individual with tailored support and representation so that they all may be able to see over that barrier. And so the reason that I think it's important for us to demand equity as a people versus equality is because equality does not put us in the running. Equality does not put us in the same place as those with a 400-year head start. Equality is not going to eliminate the disparity, eliminate the wealth gap and things like that we see. So a lot of times people say, well, why can't we as black people gather ourselves up by our bootstraps? And I'm gonna put a clip in here from Martin Luther King Jr. kind of talking about that. For a while, black people didn't have boots. You can't say, okay, we have a 400 head start on you, but we're going to free the slaves. We're going to free you guys, not provide you with any education, not provide you with any resources, but we expect you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make something of yourself. In 2020, there is still prejudice. In 2020, there's still racism. In 2020, black communities are still disproportionately affected by crime. Black people are still disproportionately affected by police officers and law enforcement. So I think it's important that when we are having these discussions regarding Black Lives Matter and things like that, that we are pushing for equity, because equity is what will truly put us on a level playing field with our oppressors. Equity, being tailored support for specific needs, is what we need. Equity should not be something you're scared to ask for, because it is definitely something that we should be entitled to. So when we have the conversations about reparations and things like that, those are forms of equity. Reparations is basically payments or payback or resources for the 400 years of horrible treatment that we as black people faced. And I think a lot of people, when they hear equality, they're thinking, oh, equal opportunity this, but it doesn't change the fact that when you walk down the street with brown skin, chances are that someone's scared of you. So the concept of equality doesn't do much for us as black people, because the fact of the matter is the stigma attached to our skin color still exists. And so for a real life example, or some example of equity in work or in play, let's take a look at the stimulus package. So if we look at the stimulus package, we see that each American, or most Americans, were provided with economic support from the government. However, the support was based on what you already brought home. So those who made over $75,000, over $100,000 in a year, those people were given less governmental support. Well, equity works in that same way. The support that you get is based on the level of what you already have. So in the case of us as black people, there are 400 years of slavery, 400 plus years of prejudice, 400 plus years of discrimination that needs to be re-upped, that needs to be paid for. And so that's why we as a black people should be demanding equity and not equality. So I hope I kind of explained that and broke that down for you. I did this video just because I was having a conversation with one of my friends about the difference between equity and equality, and I figure, why not? So at the end of this video, I am going to put a clip from Martin Luther King Jr. in here talking about the problem with the gather yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. And I'd also like to note that history has provided us with several examples of us as black people trying to gather ourselves up by our bootstraps, like we did in Tulsa, Black Wall Street and things like that, to be slaughtered and killed and things of that nature. So I hope this kind of helps you guys out there. And this can also apply to other marginalized communities. So this can apply to women and just in various different types of disenfranchised people. Just an understanding of what equality is versus equity. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know how you feel about what I said in the comment section below. Let me know whether you agree or disagree. The purpose of this video is just to spark a conversation, just to continue a conversation, and just to engage with my subscribers.
What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to click that notification bell so that you guys know when I post new content. This is Xander, and I'm signing out. Bye.